Yo, yo, yo. What up, y'all? I made this new flip. It's a hide and seek flip. Imogen Heap. I like it a lot. And I just want to show you a breakdown of everything. Let's listen first.
Where are we? What the hell is going on? The dust has only just begun to form. Crop circles in the carpet, sinking, feeling. Spin me round again and rub my eyes, 'cause can't be happening when busy streets a mess with people would stop to hold their heads heavy. Hide and seek, trains and sewing machine. All those years they were here. What you say? Oh, that you only meant well, well, 'cause you did. What you say? That it's all for the best, 'cause it is. What you say? What you say? What did she say? Trains and sewing machine. All those years they were marks appear on walls where pleasure moments hung before the takeover, the sweeping insensitivity abyss still alive. Hide and seek, trains and sewing machine. Catch me around here. Blood and tears, they were here.
Cha, man. All right, cool. You see what it is? I mix and mastered this to eventually get to like -6 LUFS, kind of -5 a little bit, getting as loud as I can. It was pretty quiet for the majority of its life, but you know, I think it's important that you get it loud enough, as cleanly as possible. When I started this, I just made sure to get the original key from the song, which is A major, actually. That means I'm going to be using that scale the whole time if I want to preserve the original flavor. The vibe of the song is really going to be based on those notes and the scale and the relationship between the notes. And you'll see the respace, this main thing, A major, making a bass line to flow with the vocals. I'm really only using the vocals. If you get the original song and put it in Ableton, you can right click it and separate the stems to new audio tracks. And that's what I did to get my vocals. But before I did that, I made sure to put it in grid on Ableton and warp it perfectly. So that means I got the timing of it. With this song, it really doesn't have much of a, like the original doesn't have much of a rhythm. There's not much beat or drum. So I may have Yeah, if you see these warp markers, I manually warped this vocal as well to get it exactly how I needed it. I mean, she's singing not perfectly at a robotic 140 beats per minute, so I basically warped her to do that. And that's why you see all these warp markers here. So that was probably the hardest part of this, but I picked my favorite parts of the song and I arranged it as such. I also made this intro with like reverb tails and resampling. This is always fun. And then we do this Bell of Life. This bell plays a lot throughout the song. And a lot of these sounds are coming from Omnisphere, just sounds that I like, you know. So, and of course, I'm just writing in A major. So I have a lot of melodics, and of course that re-space would play with the melodies, holding it down, you know. The re-spaces are easy, you know, just get saw waves wide and also mono, filter it. You're doing a low pass here so that it's deep and dark. And I'll be testing out different notes just to make sure that I pick my favorite notes, and whatever sounds good with the vocal, honestly, is the most important thing. Sometimes the timing will be based on what the vocal is doing. So I'll move notes. Like if you see this note starting after 56 right here, that's because the vocal most likely started. So I'll just do different things like that just to make sure I just keep listening over and over, and I choose after listening to the full mix. There's other instruments too, like this guitar. The cool thing is that I have Melodyne, so I could just get the vocal, turn on Melodyne, and analyze it. This is the more expensive version of Melodyne, so it gets polyphonic too. The other one does monophonic only, but this is the editor, Melodyne 5 editor. So you want at least the editor version to get poly, and then I can also export to MIDI, save as MIDI, and export all this note information into MIDI. And that's exactly what you see that I'm using here in this guitar, which I don't usually do this, but this is really helpful. Sometimes it'll get extra notes. Sometimes the notes will be off time. There's all kinds of different things. So I may have to edit this and cut them up and put them on beat, you know, with these numbers up here, just to get like a better result. So keep that in mind as you look at this. This is most likely the edited version. So these flow really well with the vocals because they're in harmony, perfect harmony.
Where are we? What the hell is going on?
Other sounds like synths, synthesizer. This is, you know, Omnisphere again, using polysynths. Anthem of Happiness there, and this guitar is Omnisphere as well, flamenco guitar A. So I just vibe out with Omnisphere, and it doesn't really, I don't try to spend too much time in there. I just try to pick sound and move forward because it's all about how things sound together. There's this 808 bass that's playing with the intro. And I tuned all these. So this is A playing the root. This drops to -4 semitones. So I'm like going down to the 4th and the 5th and different notes with the audio samples here. And I listened in my car with the sub to even make this decision, because at first I left them all at A, but when I listened in the car, A is just too high of a note. So it's cool to start it with A at root at home and then start walking down, and then we can feel those deeper, lower subnotes. It's really good. So yeah, that's what I did there. And then the respace basically does that same concept too. One of the main basses here is this guy. That's the main bass lead I made, which we'll go over in the sub that accompanies it. My favorite moment of the song is this.
What to say? Oh, that you only meant well.
This has been resampled, you know, before and put in other songs. It is just really climactic moment when it transitions to this, and it feels good as it's building. So we just feed off that energy and transition to the drop with it.
What to say? Oh, what to say? Oh, that you only meant well, 'cause you did. What to say?
So I'm building it up here. I'm also adding more instruments so it's more powerful, like the string. Well, these are just normal chords now, not the Melodyne A major chords, but this is just the root, you know, and then I just walk down to different chords here. Like this is the 6th, this is the 5th. Go back up. So I'm just doing normal or riding there with my chord progression. And then I'll get like an arpeggiated version of this. So maybe get like a pluck and then arpeggiate it like this. Arpeggiator doing that work. Of course, picking Omnisphere, and this should be a pluck. Yeah. Click air, pluck. Ooh. Very nice. Saw waves. That's just ultimate EDM power with big saw waves wide, you know. So I'm going to be adding those throughout using the Bell of Life. So walk down the scale in certain moments. So you'll be hearing this stuff as it builds.
What to say? Oh, that you only meant well, 'cause you did. What to say? That is all for the best, 'cause it is. What to say? What did she say?
A lot of the note choices will be based on the notes that she's singing. I use Melodyne to analyze and kind of see the chords that she sings or the notes that she chooses, and that will help influence my decisions when I choose these notes. They don't have to be perfectly matched, but I'll try that first if it sounds good. If it doesn't sound good, I'll try some other notes. And as I'm listening to the drum beat that I made and her vocals, I'm going to be chopping them up and starting these notes at different times. Based on groove and rhythm, I just want it to bounce as much as possible. So that's kind of the goal as I'm building this. Like usually I'll be stopping on the snare, which is always at a 0.3, like 1.3, 2.3. So you'll see this ends right when the snare begins. That's a very common thing that I do, you know, so that it flows and transitions between instruments. It's just bouncier. There's pitch bends happening too with that bass, so I'm really just focused on making as much movement as possible, different pitches. I'll be automating the effects and the filters in Serum to get that. So I'm going to go over that, but I just want you to see that we're playing this ARP in the drop. So there are melodies being played with the basses too. I don't remember what this is. So another Omnisphere. This is Flutterface hang, you know. This whole project will be my Patreon as well. If you guys want to get this, you can also see how I, you know, made these basses. I can put the bass racks in there and like the presets and all kinds of different stuff related to this. So get that too. This is just extra harmonic support. You know, I'm usually always just doing the root chord. So that's what's happening there. A major. What you say? Cool thing about this song, usually I'm doing phrases where it's repeating and repeating, but since their singing is going in multiple different directions with multiple different phrases, I changed the bass to kind of suit that. So you'll see it always is changing as we progress towards the end of the drop, which is really cool. Next, we're going to get into the sub and the bass. The sub is real easy. Sine wave with the LFO on the level. I rounded this out. It's at a bar, no effects, but pitch bend has to be 12, -12, so put the range there. And we will be automating the rate and the pitch bend knob here. So keep that in mind too. You can configure them if you want, or do automation regularly, whatever you decide. So here the sub going at, it's following the speed of the bass. It'll wobble the same. I did right there. So don't mind this broken one up here. It doesn't sound right. I don't know why. Ableton's been super buggy lately, so I had to do some stuff, and this is the one that's sounding correct. So it's weird, but we're dealing with it. On the sub, have very little post-processing, just a saturator, 12 dB, 50%, overdrive, 17%, and you kind of want to put the circle right here. EQ8, boosting the lows a little bit, 2.3 dB gain on band 3. And we're getting the sub about -9, -8 LUFS, which is basically just max volume for that sub bass. This bass is the most extensive. This is a main star of the show here, so there's a lot of post-processing. But we're going to do it together. So check this. Let's remove all the post-processing first. Now we have just serum. The main thing here is the filter. This flange plus is how I'm getting the sound, basically. I turn off that. It's very basic, and the effects is just compression with 5 dB gain turned up, reverb with 14% wet. Some plate size is at 13%, and a phaser is at 59%. So we have minimal effects. We have 3 wavetables. The first one is sine wave. PD from B is at 28, unison's 10, random's at 100. Oscillator B is another sine wave, but random 0. Both levels are turned all the way down on these oscillators, by the way. And the LFO will be on both of the levels as well. Oscillator C is basic shapes, wavetable position 2. Diode 1 in distortion is at 68%. LFO goes on it, going up 6%. PD from A is 32%, which means that A and C are now working together, and then the level is at 5%. LFO goes on the level, going up 33%. So we started with this wide sub, basically, and then added the mono one. And then PD from B is turned on, so we're like forming those together. We add the saw with the diode. Okay, and then I'm basically putting this sine wave on the sides, but bringing it back in the middle with this oscillator. And then eventually we'll be cutting out the lows anyway, so you'll see how everything starts to form together. Filter 1, C is only on. Key tracking is on. which makes a big difference. This is really cool because I move the cutoff, and this is going to create a lot of different variations and different sounds, and I automate the cutoff here, as you see, to get that. So it'll be changing in all kinds of different ways, slowly going down, slowly going up, and this makes an awesome difference. Resonance is at 65, drives at 29, cutoff is at 7,544, and the mix is at 86. These would be cool variations, just choosing a different wavetable for the wide. I like that triangle. Cool, so this sound itself is weak right now. So we're going to pop up the jam, get the saturator, drive 3.4, try and wet 62. This company OTT, look at these settings, copy these settings, save it as company OTT. That's all I did, you know, use my regular OTT, update the settings, and then resave it to this. But the lows are off here, very important. And the ratios of the threshold are significantly lower, so it's not as extreme here. 23% amount, output 12. That was weird. I think I just accidentally moved this erosion and then I couldn't fix it. So whatever. I remember though that it was high, right? High frequencies. I'm at 18,000 right here. Wide noise. I'm cutting all the lows here at 163 hertz. I'm boosting the highs with this high shelf at band 4, and it's at 310 hertz, going up 2 dB. Still quiet. Another company OTT goes on. 37%, 9.5 dB. Pro L going on, going up 0.2 dB gain. So just using a limiter with pretty safe settings. This is this vocals natural limiting on the Pro L, which is really great, and 2.5. So this is cool, but I want it to move more. So I start using an auto filter to filter this in and out so that there's just more dynamics. And the whole goal is for the vocal to be the lead. So I want this bass to not compete with the vocals so much. So I'm filtering it out and in. And it's moving at the same time and helping the vocal breathe through the mix a bit better. So that's kind of the whole thinking here. You hear that filtering, that full mix. That helps a lot. Now, the sound doesn't have reverb at all yet, so we're going to do that. But if we got the reverb, then we should probably do it in parallel. So that's what happened here. Reverb bracket's on. There's 2 chains here. 2 chains. This one is the mono. the mono. This is the dry, the one without reverb. So I can rename this to dry. And this is the wet and wide. The wet and wide. Now this wet and wide one is turned down negative 5.6 dB and the dry one's negative 1. So because they're both playing together, they're loud, and then we just turn them down, kind of blend them together. Reverb is at 1.76 seconds, so pretty big, and then dry and wet is at 31%. That's the reverb chain. This is the one without. Now, remember, the serum patch has some reverb in it, so the dry one isn't completely dry. It has a little bit of reverb from that plate at 14% or something, or 12%, but we are just like a bigger, longer reverb here, you know, just for bigger atmosphere in the mix, bigger space. Add the Haas effect. This is the delay at these settings, and then this is making it a lot wider. And then we're adding a utility to make it even wider. This is the width at 161. And remember, this EQ8 is also cutting heavily. It's cutting all the low mids and the mud out. So it's cutting at 250 to make sure this chain is clean. And that's how both of the chains are. That's all the processing. That's the reverb rack. So this helps increase volume, adds that reverb, adds more width. It's doing a lot of things. Let's listen again. Still need a little bit of gain, so I get another limiter. Same settings. Gain is pumped up 4.9. And I'll use my limiter if there's headroom. Like, if I see room, all that headroom is saying I can keep pumping up the jam. So I go up 4.9 and I just go by my ears. You know, I didn't specifically pick that gain. I just turn it up, use my ears, use my eyes here with the headroom and pick something good. And that's where we landed. With all this post-processing, I just want to make sure everything's cleaned up. So I add another EQ8, cutting the lows at 119, getting number 2 and turning it down 2.6 dB on the low mids, doing the smallest high shelf 1 dB gain boost. Use this EQ8 to do a big dipper at 284 hertz, negative 7 dB. Once again, we are just fitting things into the mix so everything flows together rather than this just being by itself. So that's why this type of EQ would be here. Erosion, 8.7%, super high wide noise. This is the new erosion, by the way. We can make it wide with the width, but it's mono right now. Stereo is 36%. And the noise blend's 100. We got this soothe side chain to the vocals and mixes at 86%. So this is turning down the wub bass according to the vocals, you know, just once again, fitting them together. G-clip, finalize it, turning it up 7.3 dB on this. Final gain boost right here with the G-clip. Here's the notes. So sick. So yeah, that dip is totally fine because that G clip is pumped up so high at 7 that all those frequencies pull back up and everything sounds nice and full and loud enough, and that's kind of where we want to be. You can mix it however you want, but that's just how I did it here. I think one more important thing to show you before I leave are the drums and just how I made my groove and my rhythm. My kick, by the way, is tuned. It's G sharp, so this is in the scale of A major. That's what I made sure of. The kick can be tuned by looking at this EQ. You open it with the arrow. Look at the kick's peak. So like right here. And then you can see over there in the bottom left or the left, G sharp 0, which is 52.5 hertz. So that's going to help you know what key your kick is in. Let's listen to the drums. I have lots of reverb stuff. Shakers. I chop up and cut these hi-hats, add the rolls, you know, make sure the hi-hats are nice and bouncy and high frequency. That extra percussion. Just make it a groovy, bouncy. I learned a lot of this stuff, you know, from hip hop and trap and listening to songs. And I've made videos about this too, so you can look at those if you need it. But I had a lot of fun on this song. It is going to be out now on SoundCloud. So go listen to that. Enjoy it. Thank you guys for your support. I do lessons every day with my students, and I would love to help you with whatever you need in your music journey. I'm creating my school, and that'll be out eventually so that you can just have every single thing I've ever learned just right at your fingertips. Easy as that. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.